Hello everybody, how are you? Welcome back to my channel, Makeup and More with Melissa. It's good to see you. I hope everybody's doing well. I am sitting here fully made up because I have an appointment later, but and this video is not a makeup video in the sense that it is about palettes, but it is not about me putting on makeup. The video that I'm doing today is more, it's actually a video that was created by Samantha March and the lovely Allie Glines. It's called the palette tag, and it's been a while, since a week or two since I've seen anybody do one, so I figured I'd hop on and do my take on one. So we should be able to go through this pretty quickly. It is just a series of questions about your favorite palettes or about the palettes that you own and your answers. So if you're interested in this video, then please follow me along. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, then please go back and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you know each and every time that I upload a video. And let's get to it. Okay, so the first question in the tag is, what is your newest palette? And my newest palette I just got in. I'm so excited, and I would have actually done that, but being that I had a doctor's appointment, I couldn't go all violet. But my newest palette is the violet palette. I have seen this going around on some other YouTubers' sites, and along with some other ones, like there's Ruby, I think there's an emerald one that just came out or recently came out. I saw this violet one and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to have it. I love the colors in it. And it's made by Profusion, which I love. I have a whole collection of Profusion palettes and whatnot. I saw this and I was just like, oh my goodness, I have to have it. I have dug into it a little bit. As you can see, my prints in there and such. I haven't actually done a look in there yet. They're so reasonably priced. I mean, I think this was $6. And when I went to go order it off their site, when I saw it, I was like, out of stock, out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. I couldn't get my hands on it. I was dying. So I finally found it, and I just literally got it in this week. So I am very excited. Hopefully I will do a video on this one coming up in the next week or so. So I'm excited about that. So this is my newest palette. And like I said, if you're looking for good pigmented, colorful palettes, and they have some really useful ones too, look into profusion.com. They have some beautiful palettes. I can do, gosh, I could do a whole video on just them alone. Maybe I'll do that because I have enough of them, and maybe I'll go through them. They are just lovely. They are so pretty to look at. And aside from sometimes having a wee bit of fallout, they apply so well, and they're just beautiful. As you can see, you know, they're just beautiful. So this is my newest, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. So the next question is, what is your oldest palette? And that was a tough one for me because I actually don't have my oldest palette anymore. That would be in this category, and my oldest palette I passed down to my oldest daughter, which promptly ended up in the garbage. But when I was younger, my mom had passed down her palette to me, and so I had kind of passed down some of my palettes to my oldest when she started wearing makeup. This was one that I did keep. This was the Revlon Color Stay 12-Hour Eyeshadow in Nude Elements. And as you can see, I did dig into it pretty good. I don't know if they make this one anymore. And then this was the pinky tone one, whoops, that I kept. And this was Blushed Wines. But I know I had older ones than this until quite recently, the last couple of years. This one's even falling apart. But yeah, it was kind of traditional that you pass them down when if you had a daughter. And yeah, so that's where mine went. So then what is your most expensive expensive palette is your next question. And that was this one for me. It is my beloved Viseart palette. This is just a beautiful, beautiful palette. First of all, I love how it comes. All of Viseart's products come this way. They are very well protected in this case. And this is Viseart's, the Grand Pro 2, and are just, it's a stunning set of colors. I don't even know what to say about them. I don't even know if I've touched it yet. I don't think so, but this was my most expensive palette, and I've been scared to touch it, I think. So, because it was like a Christmas haul that I did. But all of Viseart's products are beautiful. They tend to be a little bit more on the pricier side, so I get them only when they're on sale, or if it's a whole time for a sale. Okay, and then on to the next question. What is my smallest palette? I think it is least expensive. No, actually, I think it's the least expensive palette, small palette, and that would be my elf ones. Like, these are only $3, and they come in a variety of colors, like a whole bunch of them, and they're $3, and they're pigmented and they're nice and easy to take with you on the go. I've used several of them now, and for $3, you can't really beat them. This one's all busted with me already. I think I threw it in my purse, but so that's my smallest, least expensive palette, or most affordable. That's what it is. It's most affordable. Okay, and then the next question is moving on here. What is my everyday palette? That was a tough one. There was really a few of them. I tend to use nudes a lot, so I actually had two, but I chose to use one in another category. So this, I have to say, the Nudes of New York by Maybelline is one of my most used everyday palettes. It's got a variety of like nude colors, and I tend to go for that if I'm rushing around. So that is my most everyday palette used. Actually, it's even, I didn't use this on my eyes today, but I used the other one, but you'll see it's the same range of colors. It's just whichever one I grab for first. It's very close. This is a great palette, very affordable. I think it's still in Walmart and stores. So if you like that color tone, that's what it comes out to be. Next question, what is my smallest palettes? And that would be these cute little ones I found in Kohl's. They were right at towards the checkout, and I happened to see them, and I was like, oh, those are so cute. They're made by Pure, and they're so little. And I was like, oh, I could use those. And so they were both there, and they were in two little things, and I was like, oh, they're so cute. So I grabbed them. I've used this one a couple of times. I don't think I've used this one. They weren't overly expensive, but they're made by Pure, and I don't know if they're still available, but these are my smallest palettes. I think they're just so cute. They're like smaller than my hand if you want to go by size. So the next one is the biggest palette. Now, I wasn't sure if they were going by the palette with the most shadows in it or size. I don't have any palettes that like have a huge amount of shadows in it, so I just went by my biggest actual palette, and that's this one. I happened to grab it. It is my Wet n Wild. I think it was $20. This one, it just had a variety of decent colors. I figured I could use them as like bases or crease colors for the most part. They would be good blendable colors. They're not overly pigmented. They do have quite a bit of fallout. It's not like the best palette, but it was a little slightly disappointing, but I have used it as base colors, and for that it's not too bad. Like, I've used it as my transition colors and then blended other palettes into it, and it's come out pretty good. That's my biggest one. Now, the palette with the best memory. Okay, this is the story. The palette with the best memory is going to be the palette that got me through some really rough nights. And it's not so much the palette, it's more the YouTuber and the person. And I throw this out if she ever hears this to Emily Noel, because she's the first person or the first YouTuber that I ever watched. And I fell upon her when I was just scrolling through YouTube. I don't know how I ended up on it, but it was after my second surgery for my neck, and I was in a lot of pain and I couldn't sleep at night, and I was just up and I was laying in bed, and just to get my mind off the pain, I would go through videos, and I fell upon her one night, and she had a very soothing voice for some reason, and I started watching her videos, and they were all makeup videos, and I was like, well, I could do that. I remember doing that. And then I started seeing her family, and I just really enjoyed her channel, and I could empathize with her, and she made me laugh, and she took away my focus from the pain for just a little bit, and it gave me that relief at night that I needed. I remember when she came out and said that she was getting her first palette, and I was just so happy for her, because I thought, this couldn't happen to a nicer person, and I was just so thrilled for her, and I just adore her. She is a wonderful channel to watch, and she's what kind of made me say to myself, I would love to do that. And it made me, if I could survive an hour or two of pain during the day and sit down in a chair and just try and have some fun with some makeup, that's something that I would love to do. And it's taken me 2 years to get here where I am now, where I can sit up and get through it, and because my neck is always in pain, but it shifts my focus away from it, and that I owe to Emily Noel. So if you hear that, Emily, I want to say thank you. So my favorite palette is, with the best memory, is the Emily Edit for sure, and I'm so proud of her for this palette, and I love this palette. It has like the best colors in the world, and don't mind the mirror, and I love how she went through and equated every name with a story behind everything. It's a wonderful palette, and she has a wonderful channel, and I will try and link it down below. But if you don't know of her channel, her name is Emily Noel. Go and look her up. And Emily, thank you, getting me through those nights. Thanks. So moving on, the next palette would be the palette worth the hype. For me, that one, and I barely touched it, I played with it a little bit, would be the Natasha Denona Gold palette. I love golds, and I really was looking forward to this palette coming out, and I was really excited when it came out, and it is worth it. It is a lot of different golds and browns, and I like that. It's soothing tones for me. So to me, this was the palette that was worth the most hype. It's got some really beautiful colors. Look at that green in there. I don't think I've tried that green yet. I've dug into the golds, like this gold. Oh, that is just amazing. It's beautiful. Anyway, so I need to do some more looks. This palette challenge has actually made me go through all my palettes again and actually rediscover a lot of them that I have not touched for a long time, and it's made me want to go back and do some look in with them. So you'll be getting some looks from those actually. Okay, so then the palette not worth the hype. That, for me, going through what I have, this one, it's a really pretty palette, but I find I don't really use it. I've only done one look out of it, so maybe it's something that I'm going to have to play with more, but I just remember everybody going bananas over it, and I haven't It's pretty, but it's the Urban Decay Honey palette. It's a pretty palette. I just haven't done a whole lot of all yellow palette, all yellow or brown, you know, looks. Maybe I have to try and do some more. Maybe in the fall. They're beautiful colors. I remember the commercials, the Insta feeds for it, but it's the one that I have that just didn't. Favorite palette from the favorite brand. Okay, so going through all my palettes. Yes, I'll have to take you through my palettes one day. I have to say, my favorite palette from my favorite brand is the one I used today, and this was hard because I had to, is currently, right now, ColourPop, and Bare Necessities is the one I've been using the most. This is what's actually on my eyes and what I did today. I use it the most right now. It's just some easy tones to work with. They're great everyday colors. The reason it's the favorite brand is I find that they're always bringing out a creative palette. Their palettes are creative, their packaging is creative and fun, and all their palettes are colorful. They might have a little bit of fallout, but they're pigmented. You can always work with them, and most on top of it, they're reasonably priced. So with all that, you can't beat that. That is why it's just ColourPop, favorite brand. Bare Necessities, this is a great palette. It's also a great everyday palette, which is why it crossed with that other question. Most used palette. As of right now, if I didn't double, I could say this one was my most used palette. But if I had to choose a different palette, then it would be, I am having a lot of fun with this palette, the Sigma Cor de Rosa. This is just such a fun palette. I love the colors in it. I'll always keep dropping the brush out of it, but I love this palette. I just love the colors. And especially since I dyed, you know, I went and colored my hair the darker color. It's so warm and so pretty. So yeah, this is my most used palette right now, aside from the other. And the most used of all time, longest. This, believe it or not, is my second palette. And I got halfway through this palette and I spilled a cup of coffee. I tried to save it, but it did not work. So I went out and bought a new one, and now I haven't used it. I've been too scared to take it out of my cabinet. But this I used all the time. Like, this was my standard. Before those other ones, this was what I used. You could make so many professional looks out of this, just everyday ones. And now, you should have seen my last palette. Oh my goodness. I had hit pan, I think, on this one. I had hit pan on that one. Coffee became Lorax's friend here. So from all times was this one until coffee found it. That is basically the answers to my palette tag. Now this was really awesome. It made me really go through my palettes and realize how many palettes I have that I really want to dig into. That, yeah, I'm looking forward to rediscovering, I guess you could say. And some of them I have not even really gotten a chance to play with. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I encourage you to go back through your makeup and see what you haven't touched. This also encouraged me to clean my desk and go through the drawers and neaten everything up. And while in the process of doing that, and cleaning everything, I found things that I hadn't touched in a long time. So I think I'll have some other ideas for videos coming up soon, like videos of a full face from the back of the drawer or something like that. Anyway, yeah, because there's a lot of things that are not touched. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And I hope this was fun for you. It was fun for me. And most of the palettes that I most of them are still available, at least on the website of those that are made, you know, like who makes them. And you can probably pick them up somewhere. Thanks for hanging in there with me, and I will see you in my next video.